Good evening and welcome to Season A, the platform where we speak truth to power. We're going to do this broadcast. I'm not quite sure how long it will take, but this is in preparation for Wednesday coming. It's to do with the Fontana health card, Fontana health card. You will shortly hear Professor Killer, the president of the society, the Fontana Society, um, launched this. He launched this on the 21st of November, I believe, a few days gone. But I wanted to take the opportunity to run through it live with you on here. And of course, he will be joining us on Wednesday, 5 p.m. on Wednesday, the 29th of November, 5 p.m. UK time, for about an hour or two to answer questions. And they will talk to us about the Fontana Health card. It's the first in West Africa. It's an emergency health emergency card. And it's very very good. Basically, it is to provide emergency where were you to have a medical issue. You wouldn't have to now start asking for more payment up front and all that. The funds is automatically provided via that health card. You need to have one of that. So this is something that we need to have a rollout of this across the whole of Nigeria, to be honest, because we haven't got that. The system is not there providing it, and this can be a first step, at least dealing with the immediate emergency. Now, let us have a listen to what Professor Killer will say here. Keep in mind, there will be an interview on Wednesday where we're going to be speaking to Professor Killer at length and in greater detail. There is a funding structure around it as well. And those of us who are abroad, basically, we can actually pay for 3 or 4 members of our family back home. And that provides us with peace of mind and at least to know with if there's an emergency, there is healthcare in place. It's still, there are still issues around infrastructure and all that, but the healthcare is really fundamental as well. Let's have a listen. Here we go.
This call is being publicly streamed.
Dr. Ola Rogers, who will be doing the address of welcome. Straight to the point, let's welcome Dr. Ola Rogers as she takes on with the address of welcome.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor and pleasure that I welcome each and every one of you to this momentous occasion, the unveiling of our latest innovation, Fontana Health Card. Today is more than just a product presentation. It's a celebration of creativity, collaboration, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. We are thrilled to have you here to witness the culmination of months of hard work, dedication, and a shared vision for pushing boundaries. The venue of this event is not accidental. I am also delighted and honored to welcome you to the Lagos Center of Commonwealth Institute of Advanced Professional Studies, SPIAS. We are an international institution with centers in Lagos, in Africa, Cambridge, Birmingham in the UK, and centers in Canada. My first meeting with SIAPS was in Cambridge about 25 years ago, where I was introduced to someone that was described as Mr. Idea. His name is Anthony Killer, Professor Anthony Killer. And since then, it has been a great story. At SIAPS, we offer postgraduate and professional professional studies, and a very unique feature of SIAPS is our commitment to matching theory with practice and finding solutions to the problems of the world in which we operate. Fontana Health Card is an example of our commitment to improving our world through ideas, research, innovation, and thoroughness. Before we dive into the exciting details, I would like to express my gratitude to the incredible team behind Fontana Health. Their ingenuity, passion, and tireless efforts have brought us to the moment, this particular moment. And I am immensely proud to work alongside such talented individuals. I also want to extend my warm welcome to our esteemed guests, partners, and friends who have joined us today. Your presence adds tremendous value to this event, and we're honored to share this milestone with you. Without further ado, let the journey into the world of Fontana Health Card begin. Prepare to be inspired, captivated, and most importantly, envision how this innovation will shape the future of the health industry and our lives in Nigeria. Thank you for taking your time to join us today. Once again, I welcome you.
A round of applause. Thank you very much, Dr. Rodriguez. Without taking too much of our time, let me welcome. I call him Mr. Solution. Because before you say anything, you say, look, that is not to do it. This is how, let's sit down, see how we can put these things together. What exactly am I talking about here? Join me as I welcome on stage Dr. Anthony Killer as he gives us the keynotes and overview of Fontana Health Card.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope this is clear. A very good morning, everybody. Thank you very much. Oh, I seem like that. Very good morning, everybody. And thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate not only your presence, but also the punctuality which you know I am keen on. This idea of African time has never been my way of doing anything. And it's not African time, it's just about time. But if you have time, you should keep it. And that is the right thing. So thank you very, very much for joining us in doing this right. Allow me to, in a very simple way, devoid of any kind of pomposity, say to you, welcome to history. Because what we're about to do today, yeah, feel free to clap. Yeah, that's because, I say this because in reality, what we're about to do today, what we're unveiling today, is the first of its kind in our region, and by that I mean West Africa. And I have checked with South Africa, and they have agreed that what we have is better than them. And we've not started in Nigeria. South Africa is already calling us that we should come and open up with them. So I shall be going to Johannesburg in a couple of weeks to go and sit with them to look at things. I also say this, besides the factual point of what we're doing, to really appreciate those who have done this journey with us. This is a tribute to ideas, sacrifice, perseverance, creativity, to say let us solve problems. I start with the in-team of tears. It's good to celebrate things. I know myself, I'm not an easy person to work with. So it's been tough for those people who have been part of it. This is a product of 2 a.m. shouting and kicking table and saying this is not what we want. Let's go back again to do it. So they survived it. But I also really say this to be homage to those healthcare providers that got the vision immediately and sat with us. And many of you are present here today. A big round of applause for the hospital vaccine, for the pharmacists, for the diagnostic center who got it straight away. I see town specialists, I see Dutchess Hospital, I see St. Nicholas. Thank you very much. I mean, it's a long list. And we started by saying that let us go first with the best. It's a thing we're very keen on here. We say, let us start with the very best. Once the best get it, others will come in. And it wasn't easy, even with them in our conversation. You know, we had to iron out things to make these. We're happy we're here today. What we're unveiling is an emergency health card. The idea is to create a way for card holders not to worry at times of emergency about finance, logistics, and quality of health. It is a very sad note that the system we run in this country is not one that really caters for humanity. And I want to distinguish between humanity, citizens, and consumers. I talk of humanity because the essence of humanity comes out when life is at stake. That is the real time. You know, when life is at stake, we still do not have a system that says clearly that life matters than anything else. And this is not to blame anybody, because really, a hospital decide to say they want to be humanitarian, they will go bust because people will not. It's not wickedness, it is what it is. There's a story, I have a personal story in my own family. I have a younger sister who's a senior doctor of medicine now. And our older sister is there. When she was young, they had to train her to stop giving patients money. Because she would come home crying when she was a young doctor, and salary was finished, and she had to buy medicine for patients. And they told her, no, you can't do that. You're there to treat them, not to maintain their welfare. And that shows you the system we have. We cannot save everybody, but my idea is that let us start from the ones we can touch in our lives. This card has been built to help people who care about health. Everybody. Anytime I speak, I'm always saying to myself that whoever said that word, health well, must have been very sick. It's like a moment where you feel it out. Health is truly well. And those who allow to be part of this thing, I say very big thank you to you. This card is built to allow card holders, yes, thank you very much. This card is built to allow card holders at a time of emergency not worry about anything except pain and maybe blood. All the other logistics of administration and finance will not be on their neck. They would go into a place thinking about their life and they give them the best medical care possible. It is important for us to be able to appreciate this world, those who are not in the field. To imagine a situation where somebody who's healthy in the morning, maybe you have some underlying situation or not, it really doesn't matter. But somebody who's healthy in the morning goes to a place of work or worship, and all of a sudden almost slumps, gets a stroke, or anything similar to that. The practice, yes. Unfortunately, you experienced one yesterday. The practice normally is that you go into the hospital, not for any evil. If it's a good hospital, they expect a minimum of the cost about 800,000 naira from you. If it's a case of stroke, there are two kinds of drugs that need to be administered within 4 hours to even have any hope for the patient. Each one of them costs 700,000. To do that, this is a true story. It's true life that talks about, and doctors were tested that happens every day. Those are the kind of circumstances we're thinking about. If you have that kind of
Apologies, there's some breaks in the transmission, but that is it. But it does carry on, so do bear with us. Thank you.
ask that woman to pay with man, whatever it is. We cannot live that way. Now, whilst we cannot provide for everybody in the world, I think if the good Lord has given us some way to think, to come up with ideas, what we can do, and I say this knowing that I see the chairman of PKF there. Those are people, I have ideas, they have money as well. That is perhaps the biggest professional consultancy firm in Nigeria, if not in Africa, the way they are going, because I read some things in them in national paper. He came in quiet, I think he flew in God knows where. Those who can should help us think how we can solve this problem in a way that will make everybody happy. It is possible, that's the idea. And when I say this, I'm talking about the features of the card and how it will work. I talk about this possibility because all these great ideas we have, if the good hospitals and the good pharmacies and the good diagnostic centers had not agreed to work with us in a very short period of time, we have maximum on meeting, we will not be able to do it. I have no doubt in my mind that they will catch up later. I have no doubt because, you know, it is the thing about good things. Others catch up later. The best ones catch up first. In the same way, when we were in school, the brightest students will get that equation at the first teaching. The other ones will get it later. They won't get it if the teacher is good. It's just life. So I really find those who got it immediately, and that's why we're today. And that's the possibility. So this card is going to be available. We are very technology based on it. There have been some people who are getting the card who've been calling us on the telephone because of the media coverage, and have been buying it through the telephone. I want to urge people to use as much as possible. I mean, we'll be happy to talk to you, but as much as possible, let us use technology. The website has been designed in a way where you look at it, it will answer all your questions. By all means, please feel free to chat us. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just saying so that we can get a seamless process. Why am I keen on this? The reason why this product is affordable is because we've done everything to use ideas to minimize cost. Our business director, Dr. Fularo, who was not introduced, is not getting a lot of money for us, but we've been able to convince her about the idea of this. You know, she's bringing to the table hundreds of millions of contacts and ideas, but we've been able to convince her, let's do it well, and it will be right. And technology is what we're doing. So we're not going to be having 100 people selling the card one by one. If we use technology, book it, read all about it, ask questions, we answer you, you book online, and it's seamless. Fontana Cloud's card is guided by 3 fundamental principles. I call it the 3 F's. It is seamless, it is sensible, and it is smart for all to use. And that is what we want the idea around it to be. So you book this card online. The moment you pay for your card, you're covered, it becomes active. You nominate those who you want to use with it, and in a few days, you get a physical card that you can use. If you lose your physical card, it does not matter, because everything is saved in the cloud. It's technology we're working on. You take your card to a hospital, or somebody goes, and they know they've been covered, you mentioned them. The hospital does not need authorization like it happens with HMO now. They will validate you within seconds. They can use a telephone, they can use a laptop, just to make sure that the card holder or the beneficiary is truly covered, it's not a fake disclosure, and they see the amount of coverage there, and they treat, and they give the best treatment. I do my best not to compare this to HMO, not because of a competitive thing, but because it's a different thing. And this is a chance more than to show our difference, but to inform people that this card is for emergencies. It is not for routine checks. It is not for planned things. It is for that moment where, yes, we have to pay this card and we get the best of the card. And those are the moments that matters most. The other huge thing that differentiates, and I keep going on this, is that we started by thinking of quality care. Because when humanity matters, when life matters, really, money should not matter. And the only way to do it is to have it. And if you don't have it, at least you have a card that will cover it. Because honestly, if you don't have it, it won't matter. The reason why we become callous or criminals or non-caring is because they're poor, either mentally, spiritually, or materially, but it's what they lack that pushes them. A thinking society is a society that thinks ahead to limit its needs. And that is why people like Obafemi Awolowo talk about free education. That was why the idea of free health came to some people's mind. The idea that we can try to lead our life in a way that we're not desperate at all times. This is part of our solution to that. So hospitals, pharmacies, and I insist on pharmacies because part of a problem that we have is the capping that health has. And again, I say HMO are not evil. It's just a big burden that they have to carry. And let me say here frankly that the truth of the matter is that the cost of HMO in Nigeria is ridiculous. At least for those earning it. It is a lot for those paying it. I'm used to this conversation. I see Wale Shadari as well. I say hello to him. It's a dawn in aviation. It's a joke in aviation that the people paying the ticket, the people selling the ticket think it's cheap to fly Lagos to Abuja. But the person buying it does not see that cheap. Because, maybe with 7,000 naira, you go by road. So when you sell a ticket to 75,000 naira and you're expecting them to thank you, they don't really feel as if you've done them a favor. That is the story of HMO. The people paying for it think it's expensive. But the people managing it know it's not expensive at all. Because it has a lot of cost. That is another level we have to get to one thing. For where we are now, we've tried to limit it, segment it to this emergency thing. We have created this product and project in a way that is very user-centric. So there will be continuous improvement as we go along, as people use it. But for now, I think we're in a very good place. And I want to thank all those who participated in our beta test when we're testing it, those who took time, both hospital pharmacies, diagnostic centers, individuals who use the card because their feedback is what has allowed our card to, we've not started using it, it's what has allowed our card to be known in South Africa already, telling us, come and replicate this thing for us, the way you've done it. They've shown us what they have, and we compared it, and we saw that, no, this is better than what they have, and they appreciate it. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming today. I really appreciate the time. This is the Planet Card, and we shall be open to taking some questions now, so we can have a proper conversation.
All right, question and answer. Question time, question time. Okay.
Very good morning, everyone. My question is to Professor Kila. Actually, I'm a broadcaster, run one of the best networks in the UK. And I remember the time the NHIS came for a roadshow in England, and they was talking about this health insurance thing. I am one of those people who actually gave them the advocacy and showcased it to Nigerians in diaspora. Unfortunately, a lot of them bought into the idea. They paid money for their relatives back here, but they couldn't get the service they paid for. And it came back to me that I was selling a bad product to them. Why I'm saying this is I know the integrity of this man. We've been in England for over 30 years together, and he's my friend and my family. So I know he's got that integrity, and I know he can do it. But what I'm asking is, with the level of economic situation in the country now, where you can buy augmentin that I used to buy for 5,000, goes for about 50,000. I can't even buy my sugar level drug that was made that I used to buy for 13,000. Now I buy for 70,000 naira. So I mean, how are you going to compare this with the health service you get in Nigeria? Because of the level of foreign exchange. Because if you have to go to an hospital for an emergency, say you have a kidney issue or heart issue, I just came from England, and and you go to the hospital, you know the bill they're going to give to you. How do you pay for this? For a common man who doesn't have any means of income. How does this work? Please, can you tell me?
Professor Kila. Any other question that will take everything together?
If I could get
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. So first, let me congratulate you and your team. Um, this is the very definition of solution provider. The team has identified, the problem in the health sector, but not only the problem in the health sector, the problem with the funding of healthcare and service. Um, just as you have said, I have also experienced firsthand the need for this kind of thing. A late friend is late now. When he had emergency, he went for diagnosis and he was diagnosed with cancer. I think he panicked and he just collapsed and he went into coma. To treat him became a problem. He has money, but member of the family couldn't access the money. It turned out that friends nation has to contribute. I felt bad because this man doesn't even need anybody to contribute. But at the stage he was there, he couldn't even pay for the medical service. Now, that's my way of my own comment to say that this is thinking in the right direction. And again, congratulations. Now, Prof tried to anticipate and answer a question that was agitating my mind before waiting for him to finish, which is to ask the difference between this and the HMO. Now, I think part of that is saying that this is strictly emergency, not for routine medical attention. Knowing the way we behave at times, I hope in the contract papers or so, emergency is defined and maybe some example. Otherwise, they end up with some argument at the point of someone trying to access the service. The second one for me is you said all you need to do by this time. And I want to ask, is it a one-off payment or there is going to be annual subscription? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Take this too. Okay, great. Good morning, everyone.
The reason why we're showing this is to give us an insight into what Fontana Health Card is really about and give us an idea, before we speak to the man himself, Dr. Professor Kila. Um, that will be taking place on Wednesday, 5 p.m. UK time, 29th of November, 5 p.m. UK time. Listen.
It's a new thing without it. I don't know how to think the way things are in Nigeria. That might be a good cost of stuff. In our contact, we are going to bring this money. We also have to keep on remaining prayers because for now, it seems to be the only man standing. So, Prof, thank you so much for what you are doing. My only question is this, I'm trying to do that. This product is good.
Apologies if the sound
Those are
quality is not
the things
perfect,
that
but we want to just get an
stop me
idea of
from
what
being abused. Because knowing fully what we see from
the
HMO
Fontana Health Card
banks with
is about, and just to give us an insight again, once again,
not
to
trying to say the thing.
do bear with us.
Please forgive me.
You'll get further
Don't try to tell
clarification
someone.
on Wednesday. Thank you.
What makes you do it? Are you putting it? Are you putting it in place? To ensure you don't abuse one. Two, knowing fully our money is not yet there. The money is there. So what are we putting in place as a team to forestall all these partners from trying to do the Nigerian thing? I mean, trying to Next man with it. And try not trying to, the banks already give, most of the banks what you tell the bank, but they won't tell you. But this one, I would like to appreciate to give us some measures we have already deployed to ensure that one does not lose whatever you have invested. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take this three
Let's
so
take
that
the three, then we'll come back.
the conversation will continue to flow on. Because I see Dr. Badmus there, Dr. Badmus, thank you very much. Yes, I will start from you. So, number one, the first question, if I remember the end of Plain TV in the UK world, Larry Jawla, it's a matter of trust. And I link it to the last question, and I'll go to Chief Akonde's question. Trust is something that you build with action in when it comes to institutional or legal relationship. You build it in your planning and you build it in the process of what you're doing. Of course, when it's in law, you feel it and you take the risk. What we have done here is not to say people trust us because they're not paying money after they've paid once. What we have done is to ensure that the health deliverers, the providers who deliver the service, and because we're working with reputable health providers who have been there, who will always be there, and you can see that your treatment is not the one that would make them go bust. So they will get their treatment. It's something that is certified. We have done a very big agreement with our banker, which I'm going to mention, but I see another banker here who's trying to move us to them as well. So let me not overblow up our bankers, but they're very kind to us. I'll mention them. It's the FCMP who have sat with us and said, yes, this is a good thing. We're going to keep your money for you. We're going to assure payment. But I can see that UBA is here as well, who say they want to be part of this thing very seriously. So I think we built that's the kind of thing. To the point of people abusing the card. And I'm not going to take this in alone. At some point, we're going to let some medical directors or medical managers talk as well. The way we build it up is that we stick to, as Chief Akonde has taught us, the word emergency. It is when people want to do bad things that they pretend not to understand words. Dictionaries were made before we were born. Words are very clear. Emergency in plain English is not difficult to understand. It is an unplanned situation or injury that requires immediate attention. It is not a difficult thing that you can confuse. When we say, well, it can be flexible, we're just being dodgy. We just want to be mischievous. Really, you can understand it. But the good thing is that this conversation, I'm happy we're having it here, but we've had it in the boardrooms of many hospitals as well, for us to look at it. This event has been designed as a town hall meeting so that we can talk to ourselves, because there are users, there are potential card holders, there are members of Fontana Society here as well. And this is what we say. I'm going to give a very clear example. God forbid, as we say in Nigeria, if somebody has an accident and gets a fracture, that is an emergency. If the fracture it becomes a common fracture and requires some serious intervention, including surgery, that stems with that emergency, it is still an emergency. So they can recover it. But if while treating the patient, we now discover that he or she has diabetes as well, that is not an emergency. Does that make sense? I think that's a good idea to get the feel of it. It is what was unplanned, unexpected, and everything that stems of it that is covered as an emergency. Then I think the first and second question by Chief Akonde was the payment. This is an annual subscription. You choose the kind of cover you want, you pay for it for a year, and that covers you for that year. Let me anticipate a question immediately. What if you do not use it for that year? What will happen is that next year, you will upgrade it to a higher level with the pay of a lower level. Because we really want to incentivize you not to go and misuse it. to want to keep it up. What happens? I think there's a man, Mr. Topel Joe, I don't know if he's here, who's been chatting on, who wants the highest level from the beginning. What happens if I have the highest level already? You will go to a higher level that does not exist yet. It's a continuous thing. It will increase the number of people you can cover and the amount of coverage you can have once you're paying less. And yes, inflation is a problem that we're dealing with, but we just have to keep on dealing with. And I'm very glad you say it. And I direct this thing to healthcare providers, that you are in a situation, yes, we don't want you to go bust, not just a profit. And by the way, those who know me know that I'm not against profit. I come from the family of traders, and although my dad was an accountant, I think he was counting the money, but I come from a family of women traders, so I'm not against profit, but I think we need to think about it. The key word which the new MBA people are looking, I see a graduate of CAPS there, so remember that word, I know about sustainability. The key word is to make profit so that the business does not die, so that you have enough money, love that word, to sustain it, so you don't take it and run away and the business dies. And I really want to say one thing to us. When we think about ourselves and our solutions, let us not think about it in petty terms. Allow me to just say this because it's on my mind. It's not the topic of the day. But you see, we have an issue which our leaders, our business leaders, and our professionals need to think about. In this country, where we manage everything, salaries, shoddy products, shoddy services, everybody's needy, everybody's trying to outdo the other, we still live in poverty. In societies where no matter what you buy, you go with your ticket, they give you a refund, or your receipt, rather, not your ticket. They give you a refund, they still make more profit than us. The biggest supermarkets in Nigeria, put them all together, they're smaller than Walmart or Asda, which is one. And yet those places, they give true discount, sell fresh food. When the food is bad, they throw it away. If you buy something, you return it, they still give you. Banks don't charge you an arm and a leg. All the banks put together, never mind what they say, they're not as big as Barclays, which I managed for years. I know the inside of Barclays Bank because I was the city for years. They give things out for free and yet they're still richer. So our problem is not really material poverty, it's about ideas. And if we want to uplift ourselves, we need to go beyond petty. The founders of American Express card went forward under very simple premises. They sat in a room and they looked at them and said, by the way, the history of America, the Bank of America itself was actually an Italian bank. The original bank was called Bank of Italy. Before it became Bank of America, it was an Italian immigrant that funded. They sat in a room and looked at them and said that if we give out credit card, will people not run away with our money? You know the spirit that kept them going? They came to the conclusion that overall, there are more good people in the world than bad people. And I think if we want to do things and find solutions, we need to keep doing it that way. Of course, there's due diligence. We learn from PKF and other people who teach us about due diligence every day. So to the idea of trust and integrity, that is what we're banking on. Competence and hope that if this is done well, it will go well. Thank you very much.
Any other question?
I think Dr. Badmore's raised his hand, yes.
Good morning, everyone. Zakila, thank you very much for your initiative. Zakila makes it look easy. It makes things look easy. I have been a medical doctor for 40 years. And there are many of my colleagues who would prefer to treat cases with him as a founders and launchers of this initiative. You see, there are many aspects of this. But as he said, it is best to focus on the positives. Because if we focus on the positive, the negatives will come, and we will have to deal with them as they arise. So let's focus on the positive. 75, 80, 85% of healthcare in Nigeria is provided by the private sector. Depends on where you're looking at, whether it's Abuja or Lagos or Abuja. It depends. The important thing is this: any initiative like this must carry the private sector along, but not in the way that HMOs have done. HMOs have alienated the private sector. That is why NHIS didn't really work. NHIA, which is the follow-on to NHIS, is at risk of being dead on arrival for exactly the same reasons. The private sector must be carried along as a partner, not as the opposition. Governments in Nigeria at all levels, including the National Assembly, believe that the private sector is the opposition, is the enemy. They make rules, they make laws, as if the private sector doesn't matter. They think that the owners of Lagoon Hospital are swimming in billions of dollars. They think that every private doctor that has a hospital is making so much money, it is their mission in life to separate the doctor from his money. Now, my question is this: how do we ensure that somebody who has an emergency goes to a hospital in Isheri or in Akute, where I live, will get treated there and then? Because by definition, an emergency does not leave room for someone to call the company for authorization. So how do we work that out? And does it mean that every single hospital registered with the state agency, the farmer in Lagos, the State Ministry of Health and all, every single one of them is automatically subscribed? Because, again, by definition, we don't know where an emergency will present by the definition of emergency. So those are the practical things. And the last question is to do with how do we get doctors, private sector operators to trust you, Dr. Professor Killer. I trust you. But how do we get my colleagues to trust you? Because it is that trust that will make them treat a person, an accident victim, and know that they will get paid.
Thank you, Dr. Badman.
Thank you.
Dr. Badman introduced himself as somebody who has 40 decades of medical practice. He forgot to mention that he's also a certified IT expert that consults in many countries, has managed the NHS, and is also a public health trained manager. I say this, of course, to show him off because it's on the faculty of CS, but also to point out that when you say I make it sound easy, it's because I've gone through the rigors of people like this. Before we agree things, I will stress my life before we make any step and ask questions. So, 3 questions. In terms of management terms, I'm tempted to call you a sales guy to do a very quick presentation on market penetration. So that is the question he's asking. How do we make sure that every area is covered? We're using 2 ways to do it. I share what secret of the trade. We started with very best hospitals, knowing that where those people go, others will try to follow them. We set standards very high, because when we tell people we are giving them the best medical care possible, it really has to be the best. Question remains, what happens if something happens far away from where the best medical hospital is? Because that is a real question, which is a very difficult question. What happens is we use 2 tools. One is that we allow, as I said earlier on in my overview, my presentation, this is a very consumer-centric product. When you fill your form to register to Frontana card, We ask you to mention your preferred providers, and you can list them, and you will get, if you sign up for Fontana, you get this kind of notice. What we tend to do is for you to choose providers that are near where you work, where you live, where you visit, or where you think you might visit. So if you live in Lagos normally, let's go back to Adroiti, since you mentioned it, but you know you go to Adroiti once in a while, look for the provider there. In case something happens to somebody you care about there, or wherever you have somebody that can happen. What we do, we have a team of big persuasion people. I've been on field with some of them, I've seen them. Some hospitals can testify that I came to see them myself with some of the team. Who will then reach out to this health provider the day you mentioned them to tell them about Fontana card and to try to get them set up and sign up? If anybody tells us of a provider that they want them and we cannot sign them up, the only reason will be that they do not match the standard we want. And what we're going to do is that in the radius of that zone, we will choose somebody who we feel suits what we want. And then we'll show you that this person has been signed off. What happens if after all this, we still do not find a provider in that area? The holder of Fontana card has a 24/7 service. That if they are in any kind of emergency somewhere and they find themselves where the hospital is not a Fontana card accredited hospital and they need it, and here please hold on to that word, user-centric, and they need it, at that moment, Fontana will agree with the hospital lifetime and transfer money to them so that our card holder is treated. Then we will get the agreement after that. Now, you're right. This is a very tricky thing. But because this is not raw business, I started with the word humanity. Because this is about saving life, we're going to bend backward, to save lives, to make sure that person is treated. So why, thank you very much. So why would a hospital sign up? Because I see some of our providers here, if they can still get money, even if they're not signed up is a question. Because those who are signed up have the advantage that beyond emergency care that people will look for them, Fontana will actively promote, market them, and improve their services for them. So they have the advantage of being part of us in their growth, even when there's no emergency. So that is a slight thing, because I know I can think business developers from some hospitals looking at me very intensively when I was saying this thing. Yes, we have thought it through, and it's a win-win situation for anybody that is part of it. I hope that helps, Dr. Okafor. And of course, you're going to say you trust me because we're in public. You won't say you don't trust me in front of everybody. But the trust is in the product we're offering. Thank you.
They cannot hear you.
Is it the microphone on your phone?
Is that voice?
Put the microphone closer.
Okay, like I said, thank you so much, bro, for this outstanding initiative. A great step towards the improvement of healthcare system in Nigeria. Okay, my name is Cynthia Ezekwesili. I'm an insurance journalist from Business AM platform. I have just one simple question. You all know that in Nigeria, a good number of Nigerian citizens are living in the rural areas. Some of them are not educated, and not all of them are digitally inclined. So I want to know what are the measures that have been put in place to create awareness about the card and to enlighten people living in the rural area on the way they produce the card to access emergency health for their personal use during emergency health situations.
All right, Cynthia. Any other question? Okay.
I'm Dr. Chukwu from Nicholas Hospital. I just have a question for the prof. I would like to know about what your grievance resolution and also what you put in place for grievances, because your product is specific for managing emergencies, and providers could be in a position to turn down a case that is not an emergency. And with our people, they once, yeah, they usually need to have a grievance resolution process real time online. Maybe my suggestion, but I'd like to hear what you have in place. Thank you.
What I'd just like to know, are you interfacing with the insurance companies, both national and international?
Let me take those three as we go ahead, because I'm not thinking, so I don't forget them. The first question by the lady from AM News, which is a very important newspaper for us, is how do we reach the rural areas? We're counting on people like you, my bear. It is a job to tell them. We're counting on people like you. We're counting on all the media people that are here to get the message across. We shall be doing our bit, both digitally. But and allow me this to say this without appearing elitist or snobbish in a bad way. There's a positive side to elitism. But you see, my idea is that it is the duty, the burden of those who know to inform those who do not know. You know, I started translating for my grandmother at the age of 7. Not only that showed me that when you know you have to share, it also allowed me to learn a lot. It's very important that those who know should, you know, inform other people. That's what we're counting on. The media and other people, I see this man who's always changing his look here. People like him who tell me us, the MD of Auxilia is here as well. Those are the kind of things we're counting on to let the world know about it. And that will take us to rural area. So how do we deal with grievances and complaints? One, because we have the ethos. Remember we said this is something that is very user-centric. Because we're committed to making that happen, that is the ethos. Because we're technology-based, so the online thing you requested for, yes, that will be a live chat that will lead with things instantly because it's an emergency. But because we're also very lucky, because on our board, we have people like Chief Tola Adeniyi, who's the first ombudsman in Nigeria. If you can give him a round of applause, it will be legitimate. He has traveled all the way to oversee us. He was supposed to be sitting in front there, but like the overseer he is, he's sitting there from behind to make sure we're doing the right thing. Those are people when Nigeria was still going to a great path and managed an office of grievances of complaints when there was no technology. So he's going to show us, he's going to guide us in what we do, and we'll take technology to guide it. We are counting on, and at this point, Dr. Chukuma, thank you very much for intervening. I'm really hoping we get more medical directors and other practitioners to talk. But really banking on, and this says in our response letter, the contract we signed with hospitals, we're really counting on fair usage, and we're counting on the discretion of doctors. So more than just the way judges are very powerful now in deciding who becomes governors and everything in this country, more than ever, governors will be deciding who live or die. Because we're counting on you to say, yes, this is a certified emergency. We know that you've already taken the oath of saving lives, but we also know that because of the quarterly meetings we're going to be holding with hospitals, we keep exchanging ideas to deal with this problem, and we know that it's a win-win situation for you that we don't go bankrupt. And you know that it's a win-win situation for us that you keep treating emergencies. So we're counting all our actions on that. But above all, Dr. Chukuma will get the live online solution thing you want. So things can be resolved directly and in real time. I hope that helps, Doctor. Thank you very much.
Questions?
Yes.
Let me say a very big congratulations to the team, the entire team. then a very big congratulations to you, Professor Anthony Killer, my very own. Um, I want to say that we are at the point in Nigeria where nobody will teach us that we owe ourselves what is called duty of care. And it's a very sad situation, but it's a point where we all must rise up as citizens to ensure that we stay afloat. Nigeria is a very big country. It's not everybody that will jump at the end of the day. So the reality is, what do we have on ground? All hands on deck. That is just what this means. And I have those people just listening to everything that is happening, and the fact that we have come to realization that life is everything, and to keep it now is almost in our hands. So I really want to thank you, not just because I'm your blood, but because it's a solution that we all need. You know, um, I'm a corporate person, and I'm looking at this product and I'm saying, yes, you said it's transferable, but you need to coin it in such a way that it addresses even the corporate body. Because at this point, the corporate body must participate in saving the lives of their staffs, of their partners, of their workers. And so they must understand the communication. And Prof, I am a graduate and a master of marketing and advertising, and we have a way of speaking to the people in such a way that, sorry to say, even bad product looks good. So there's a lot of relationship that you will need to um, get into. There's a lot of relationship that you will need to work with, because it's a no, because aside from it just being noble, it's the reality. It is what we all need. The past few months have been traumatizing, and these obviously were things that we needed even in those situations. So I just want to congratulate you, and I'm looking forward to how Nigerians will take this. It looks like a card that everybody should just have somewhere. More than an ATM, there's this thing that people carry that, if they fall, you check their body, you see the card. Like a blood kind of thing. So definitely, it should be that kind of card. And communication is very important. They must understand it. It must be accessible. And I also want to say, yes, you're trying to be very technologically inclined in using this. Everything does not support the amount of technology you're talking about. So you have to bring it down so that everybody can reach this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
All
a
right.
salient point that she raised there, and I'm sure no doubt you'll give us answers, and we'll take that into
Good
consideration
morning,
as
everyone.
well.
I have two questions to ask. This card is coming here more of a medical intervention in Nigeria. So, what will be the reception against HMO? I mean, are we to keep the two cards simultaneously? So, I have a green card for HMO, I also have another card for emergency. And I also want to ask a question. When we look at emergency, Prof played a contest to it. And I would love to ask, how many emergencies possible within a year?
How many emergencies possible within a year?
Let me congratulate Prof for his development. It's highly needed. And, my name is Dr. Lassis. I'm a cardiologist with heart specialist hospital. I just have two comments, and I want us to look into two areas. When this program essentially, as it's starting now, we need to pay attention to two areas to make it smoother than it is. One, we need to bring in people with what we call ambulance services, emergency service. For many patients, what we realize is, even if it is an emergency, we have golden hours that we should present to the hospital. Even when they have these issues, they end up coming several hours when little can be done for them. So that if we have networks or we have ambulance service that they can reach out and take them, so if we bring them on board too from the beginning, whereby if they need to get to the hospital, they just call the ambulance, we have network of ambulance services, we can move from, we take them to hospital and take that. Then the other one, many people have asked, where does the emergency stop? The patient comes in, now he has a stroke, comes in, whatever we can do, is done. But because in this part of the country, we don't have a step down from hospital at home, and we sorted out the emergency maybe in the first 5 days, they need to do physiotherapy, they need to do things that it does not necessarily have to do in a big hospital. And we don't have a step down home where it needs to do physiotherapy. So you end up staying maybe for a month and you should be at home. And with this cost covered on these emergency services, where do we draw the line? The patient that is recovering, maybe it's heart surgery, he needs to do physiotherapy, still needs to do, but it does not have to be in a full hospital bed, ICU or where. And we keep dropping bill even when it's gotten well. So we need to look into that so that, okay, fine, patient is well, but there's no step down. Who takes over if he needs to stay longer and there's nothing emergency that we're doing for him for that period.
All right, any more questions, please? Question?
That was a very long question, so maybe that one should stand alone. Dr. Lassizi is a top medical practitioner in this country, and we really appreciate him for coming here. He's one of the reasons why this is a very short event, because 1 minute of Dr. Lassizi is one life that is there. He saves people's life very seriously, and I'm very proud and happy that he's here with us. So yes, it's flexibility, doctor, and I said it well. The situation is this. Anything that stems from emergency, we would like to cover, including if because of an emergency that happened, somebody wants to go to a guest house to stay for some days. This will cover it. Where is the limit? It is, and follow me carefully here, please. It is the amount of money that is under the cover of that card that will cover it. Now, the money is not about how much is it. Is it too much? Is it too little? Link it back to emergency. You see, the essence of emergency is that in that first 24 hours, where one did not plan at all, one is out of debt. That is where the card steps in. In that early 24, 48 hours where something happens, where you can't plan. Even if you have money, maybe the transfer will not go. That's where this card really steps in. This card will really cover definitely anything that happens in that 24 hours, in that early time. Because of our commitment, we then say, if money is left, we're ready to go beyond that. But really, you don't need to. I hope that makes sense. The idea being that if something happens, somebody has an accident, somebody falls, a stroke, or somebody about to slump, something happens, that moment of stabilizing that patient, the carer of the patient itself will not think of money. That's the whole point of this guy. That is the crux of it, if you want. Then after that, if somebody says, look, to really stabilize this patient better, it would be good for them to go to the Sheraton. I'm not competitive, I'm advertising here. If there's more money left, yes, the card will pay for that as well. As long as it steps for that thing. Of course, I'm being paradoxical here. But not so much, because I think people of Dorchester International Hotel. Sorry, I call it hotel, but especially hospital. If you've been to their hospital, really, one is tempted to want to be sick for a few days, just to have it. But that's the mindset. Or Crestview, I think Crestview now. I mean, I don't look it, but I don't like injection or anything like that. And I didn't spend some years in medical school, wasting my parents' money. But when you go to some diagnostic centers like Crestview, the first thing that comes to your mind is comfort. You actually feel safe. Anything they do to you. And please give them a round of applause, because I took my mind to find out why, and I spoke to your MD and all of you, and I realized that this is what I preach. It is because there's a thought process behind it to say, let us make being sick not so bad looking. And that is the idea. That is the future. I say this to other people living in the health sector. So yes, doctor, the cover is limited by money, but because of the goodwill we have, we'll do our best to make sure that emergency does not remain a stress in people's lives. Thank you very much. I hope that answers it. So I want to be careful with time because I really want to finish at about 11:30 as we said. The next item is demonstration, is what we plan for you, for people to see. And here, Dr. Motila is looking at me, but he says technology might be too much. We've all been handed a paper, a flyer for Fontana card. Those who can, if you scan the code there, the barcode, it will take you to the website. I threatened some Fontana people yesterday that they're going to role play and act it for people, but I think with technology, we might not need that. If we scan that barcode, it will take us to the website and literally let us see very much about it. And we can try it now if we wanted to register or just save it to read more. So while we're experimenting it, we realize that not everybody can do barcodes straight away. For those who cannot, you just need to go to fontanasociety.com. fontanasociety.com, and that would then take you to the website, and from there you can look at this specific solution, which is the Fontana Health Card, where you see everything we need. Whilst you're doing that, why Fontana Society and why would you like this? This body is something that was considered, yes, you're there, was something that's considered said as a society to help graduate businesses and professionals. You know, I call them the real people. The people who can trace their talent and merit in life. People who deserve to be okay in society, but society is not respecting and helping. And so we said, you know, instead of fighting, I say instead of fighting, those who know, you know, I've done myself a few times. Because I never shared away from it. People think I'm brutal now, but it's 20 years ago, before that battle, what it was to be giving something. My sisters still drink when they wanted us to come back to Nigeria after they knew what was happening for me. The idea is this, you know, we brought together a society to say, let's stop complaining, let's see what we can do for ourselves as businesses and professionals. So the idea of society, you know, we get together, we think of the problem we have in the country, we try to provide solutions ourselves, invest where we can, lend ourselves money where we can, buy houses where we can. That is the idea. And it's not something difficult for Nigerians to sell, because anybody that has done their borehole in their own house will know that you can self-govern. You know, it's just because we have time to waste on government. That's why we follow them at all. Otherwise, my solution is everybody should just look at your community, look at your friends, and solve your problem, and ignore them totally. So that is to give you an overview of what our container solution. Very soon we shall be inviting you to some other solutions we have. But let's stick to the card today. So if we look at the website, we go in there, it tells you the time, a bit about the card. I hope we've said a lot already. The kind of covers we can get and how to go about it. So we can do that as we go along. And I think that to really save time, we're going to round up. That's the demonstration. We still have a few minutes to go.
Yeah, 3 minutes to go.
Yes,
All right, thank you very much. A round of applause for Dr. Anthony. When I got to know about Fontana Healthcare, I said to him, how come this didn't come in 2 years ago? I wouldn't have had to spend so much money because each time I drive past Abriega, U-turn, and I see the building, there's a particular hospital there where I spent so much money trying to take care of my father, and they will not even administer anything except you pay. That area, Abriega, U-turn, I do not want to mention the name of the hospital. So each time I drive past, I say you will never receive my money again. You need to be hospital. Because I remember that I paid so much money discharging my father on Saturday, and he passed on Tuesday, which was October 26th. So I really never liked that idea after having spent so much money. But I really want to appreciate the organizers of this initiative. They really done well. They really done well. The time is now.
Votes of thanks you will do.
Okay. So I wish to see more of this, and I hope that a lot of Nigerians, every one of us, were able to tap into this particular initiative. And at the end of the day, it shall be well with us. Looking away from the government and trying to see what we can do for ourselves is what every one of us should begin to look at. Anyway, vote of thanks will be taken by, what's the name? The Ricky. All right, now we have vote of thanks by Fontana team, and that will be taken by Ricky.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. We do appreciate your presence. Once again, my name is Ricky. As we come to the close of this spectacular event, I am honored to extend heartfelt gratitude on behalf of SEABS and Fontana Society. Today has been culmination of the hard work, anticipation, and the collective enthusiasm that surround the launch of newest creation, Fontana Health Camp. First and foremost, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to each and every one of you, gracing this occasion with your presence. Your support and enthusiasm have added immense value to the success of the product's launch. Your curiosity, question, and engagement throughout the day have truly made this event special. A special thanks to our distinguished guests, industries, partners, and collaborators who have joined us today. Your presence not only validates the importance and significance of Fontana Healthcare, but also strengthens the bond that can drive innovation and progress in our country. A big round of applause for the incredible team behind Fontana Healthcare, led by Professor Anthony Killer. Their dedication, creativity, and unwavering commitment have brought us to this moment. We are immensely proud of our achievements, and today wouldn't have been possible without their passion and hard work. Our gratitude extends to all the directors, academics, professionals, hospitals, pharmacies, diagnosis center, and other health and business operators whose support has played a crucial role in making this event a reality. Your belief in our vision is deeply appreciated, and we look forward to continued collaboration. As we conclude this event, we invite you to explore Fontana Healthcare up close, engage in further discussion, and experience firsthand the innovation that we are so proud to bring to the country. In closing, thank you once again for being part of the momentous occasion. We are excited about the journey ahead, and we look forward to the continued success and growth that Fontana Healthcare will undoubtedly bring. Thank you very much, and safe journey back to your various destinations. Those who stayed are welcome to chat with us for booking appointment for future meetings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ricky, right?
Yes.
All right, for the records and for all the journalists here, after having done the vote of thanks, let me quickly share this with us. We have the presence of Dr. Fola Rogers, who is the business director for the Fontana Health Card. She's an education and healthcare consultant. She is a consultant psychologist and emotional intelligence specialist. She runs a consulting outfit in the United Kingdom and Nigeria for training, recruiting, and emotional support services. Dr. Fola Rogers joined SEABS in the United Kingdom, and she has been a faculty member for over a decade. A round of applause for her. Dr. Fola Rogers, when I grow up, I want to be like you. She's really looking very beautiful. All right.
Thank you very much, but I just want to say, we say we're finishing on time. It doesn't mean you have to go. Because we want to make sure we finish at that time. And we can all stay at our meeting. We have to continue.
Please let's all go out there and spread the virus of this disease. It's important for us to spread it because I'm going to be doing a whole lot with this particular Fontana Health Card on my radio program. I know you're sincerely tired and you are Dr. Polaro is okay, photo session, photo session. Photo session. Please, photo session. Yes, you can. Photo session with the organizer of this initiative.
Let's do this people.
Photo session, photo session. Please come forward, photo session. Oh, sorry.
Remember, let the tolerance Okay, we can do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next batch, Dr. Bola Gadetai will assist. Okay. Okay, let's recognize the presence of Mrs. Oyofo and Mrs. Adesbiyi. Please come. Please come. It's a wonderful initiative. Nobody wants to work on it.
We get to
all the ICOBA members present here.
We're watching the closing ceremony to the event where the launch,
all right, ICOBA members
and his team launched the Fontana Society
ICOBA members
Health Card. I think it's a welcome.
Where are the ICOBA members?
And there will be more discussions on Fontana Health Card. Very, very important. I think it is
okay, the ICOBA members are here. They're not very many.
With the NHIS card and all of that. We don't know where that's going. This is something else, dealing with the emergency situation. At least if NHIS does that, National Health Insurance Service, something. If that comes,
thank you, ICOBA members and Dr. over 40 years.
This can be a stopgap in between that, I think.
Please come, please come.
And of course, if you do have questions, you can of course post the questions on here before we have the actual interview, which is going to be on Wednesday, 29th of November at 5 p.m. So keep that in your diary. We will be having that there. So we're just speaking now as we're now into the closing ceremony for the event that took place on the 21st of November, I believe. We have a one-on-one popular on the 29th of November on this platform. I will be joined by working together. So it will be a mixture of participate in the program. So if you're on the Ududuwati radio, speak in Yoruba, and then I'll translate it in English. And for those who don't speak English, then you can translate for them, or at least allows those who are speaking English to be able to participate as well. So that's why we're putting this season one. We really appreciate you put together. But yeah, here we are. So that's something that's going to come up shortly, and I thought it was worth us sharing that and discussing with you all. How do you find it? I mean, I think there are a lot of questions, there are a lot of positives. The thing is, what I like about what is being said here, and I don't have the full understanding of it, there is a solution based thinking. And
Okay,
that's what I like to do.
Fontana,
I
can
like
you
to
hear
look
me?
at things with a solution based. How can we solve?
Rejoice,
How can we solve
rejoice,
this
a
problem?
new king
Go
is
ahead and join them.
born. Rejoice. Okay, that's
So
rejoice.
this will probably be wrapping up, and we'll be bringing this broadcast to an end.
Okay, this is Ari
If you're just watching
Fontana saying,
Season the
join
platform
now.
will speak to the power. All I'd like you to do is to subscribe. So let me just do before we bring that to an end. Go ahead and subscribe to Season on YouTube. Hit the notification button, give us thumbs up, help us reach more people.
Okay.
We really appreciate your support. And whilst they're doing the closing, closing remarks and discussions among themselves and photo ops and all of that. We're just gonna, we'll be bringing this broadcast to an end, winding down as it were. But please don't
Fola
forget to go to
Shade Coker, please.
www.seasonawa.org. All of this will be
Fola
part of what we're
Shade
participating
Coker.
in, and I'm hoping that in doing what we're doing now, this will exactly what needs to be done. There is a lot of work that all of us have to be involved in, and I'm on this concept that we have to continue to empower ourselves collectively.
Photo
This
session.
will come to an end, but like I said, watch out for the interview on the 29th of November, which is on Wednesday, 5 p.m. on Ududuwati Radio /Citizen AY at the same time in English and Yoruba. So you can play a part. You can also pose questions on this platform. Yeah, it will be streamed as well. We will do the streaming first on Facebook and then, of course, on other platforms. Don't forget to subscribe to Season A on YouTube, we do TV Radio. Help us grow the platforms, and we really do appreciate your support. So, you've been watching the
DJ Music.
inaugural launch of
I don't know
the
why
Fontana
medical things are
Healthcare
usually
Card,
very boring.
an innovative concept meant to solve
We'll be talking,
emergency
talking, talking,
healthcare
and eating,
issues
eating, eating. Where
on
is the
ground
music?
in Nigeria. This is groundbreaking. It is.
Hey,
And here's the man
the game is
himself.
starting.
That's the man himself. I want you to see Professor Killer, the great visionary in himself, really trying to, come up with plans and not waiting. Clearly, like I said, the NHIS is not really doing what it needs to do. There's a lot of issues with that. We're not sure how that's going to happen, but with at least with this can hit the ground running, create emergency assistance, be able to deal with emergency situations of our people on ground without having, so that we don't have any mishaps and things, needlessly. At least we have something in place. And this is, anyway, there are more discussions we have, but let's just wait on that. So, yeah, tune in on Wednesday, 29th of November at 5 p.m. on Ojuduwati Radio and Season AY. We'll be having the joint broadcast. Let's listen on.
And you look the part.
Let me ask Mr. Ike.
Thank you so very much, all the distinguished personalities present here today. We appreciate you for coming. Very soon, we shall be invited.
There you go. So that's a wrap right there. So I want to thank everybody that's been watching this. Please do tune in, do share this. I'm going to put a link also for the broadcast. I would suggest that we also subscribe to the CIAPS platform as well on YouTube. We need to help them to grow and look out for more updates in terms of this Fontana Health Card. It is a game changer that many of us, even abroad, we could actually rely on. And imagine having that set up at home rather than relying on insurance and things coming from abroad, not actually understanding the local intricacies and all of that. So this is very, very important thing to have. So please do tune in on Wednesday. But thank you for watching. You've been watching Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power about Letron.